Okay, I'm just another shop update here. I'm showing you this lift because it's back, and I'm going to be probably working on those airlines. But welcome to another shop update. The airlines that I was talking about is, as you remember, or the viewers of you that are long term remember, I put in a couple of hose reels, air hose reels, and I've got to run piping from the compressors over to them. So I kind of needed the lift, but the landlord had the lift on a project that he was doing the entire summer. So maybe we're back at it. Probably steel prices are coming down a little bit, and maybe we can get some pipe. Probably not going to go out and buy it conventionally because the steel prices are still through the roof, and piping conventionally would be out of sight, but I can probably get it from an old employer of mine a lot cheaper than I would be able to go out into a wholesale market and buy it. We picked up a cabinet there, more junk into the shop, but it's constructive junk where I can sort things out and store stuff in it too. But that'll be a topic for another video of going on. I'm going to shut you off and I'll bring you back here in a minute and we'll talk about something else. And then there's been progress made on that dunnage rack for the International, so we'll get into that too. I'm showing you this box of AMSOIL. What it is AMSOIL 530, and it's synthetic motor oil. There's also a filter in here, and this oil is for the Corvette. At some point in time during the winter storage here, I'm going to change the oil and air filter on the Corvette. The air filter will be another topic, but I just wanted to kind of show you this because there's going to be an issue about getting motor oil, and I'm going to discuss that right now under a separate clip. There's some 5-gallon pails of Rotella T4 1540 motor oil that I had used in both my Dodge and I use in the International. And I got that. I had gone to Napa back in June, I think it was, or July. And tried to get Rotella because I had bought it through Napa before there, and they wanted an outrageous price for it at the time. It was like $120 for a 5-gallon pail. Now I know that Tractor Supply had kind of advertised it for club members for $69. So I went to Tractor Supply and I got a pail of it. They only had one pail of it in stock. I put it on a rain check to get 4 more pails of it at $69. That was in June or July of 21. It took me until November, the end of November, to get this motor oil in on a rain check from them. But I just wanted to show that to you because I had this issue with getting motor oil. So, as you guys know, I do something that has me going all over the country to drop some things off for some other people, and all I hear is about how it's hard for everybody to find anybody to work. Nobody wants to work anymore. They won't show up for job interviews. They show up and tell them after an hour that the job is too stressful and they need to go home and it can't work for them anymore. I hear that all the time, and it's no joke. I absolutely hear that all the time. And a friend of mine down the street that runs a business tells me that all of the time. Can't get people to show up, can't get people to work. They don't want to stay working. The job is too stressful, and all they're doing is fabricating rebar and cleaning the shop, and the job is too stressful for them. But anyways, I regress here. I decided to change. I had just showed you that clip about the T4 Rotella motor oil. I decided to change my Dodge, the Ram, over to a synthetic motor oil. And because I had used a conventional motor oil, what I was going to do is buy Rotella synthetic before I switched it to a more expensive AMSOIL synthetic oil. Just to run the Rotella synthetic, the T6 synthetic, through the engine to kind of flush out any of the residue or leftover oil from being a conventional motor oil, the T4. I went to Napa, and because on their website they listed the motor oil and they could have it at my local store within a day. I had to go somewheres. I had to go down to Texas, so when I came back, I went to my Napa store and told them I wanted that Rotella, and the guy says they didn't have any in stock. Guy looked it up and he says there's none available, and there is no idea of when they can get it. And it happened to be one of their Napa guys that distribute motor oil were there checking inventory, going through stock and stuff like that. He looked it up. He couldn't find it. He says they're having trouble getting oils because of the blends, because of the products that they put in motor oil, the additives that they put in motor oil, they can't get. It's not that they can't get the oil, it's that they can't get the additives for the oil. So he says, Rotella T6, we have no idea when we'd ever be able to get it. There's none in stock, and so what I did is called some other people, and they said the same thing. When I say other people, AutoZone, Advanced Auto, they said the exact same thing. Can't get additives for the oil. There's no way we know when you could ever get it. So again, originally I was going to AMSOIL. I called up AMSOIL this morning. Told them that that what they had said and about my question about running that through it, the Rotella through it before I use their product, and he says it'd be an absolute waste of money. And he says I have no idea why they're telling you that they can't get additives for their oil, because we use additives and we have absolutely no problem getting the additives for the oil, the synthetic. So I said, do you have it in stock? And he says, yeah, most certainly we have it in stock. So I went ahead and purchased AMSOIL. Now it's not going to be in here in time. I've only got 1,000 miles left on before I need to do an oil change. Actually, not even 1,000 miles, and it won't be here in time. But anyways, I ordered it, so I'm going to use what I have in stock of conventional T4 Rotella on this oil change, and then when I get the AMSOIL synthetic oil, I'm going to change it for that. But this country has gone to shit. I mean, people telling me all the time that they can't get stuff, and there are excuses why they can't get stuff. Standing in front of a Mac toolbox, and I had a guy tell me the other day that he's had a Mac toolbox order, not from my distributor, my Mac tool guy, not from him, but another Mac tool guy, that he's had a Mac toolbox ordered for 8 months and can't get it. I questioned my Mac tool guy about it, and he says, you know, he's probably right. He probably can't get it. I probably got the box, but I'm not going to a long story. He's probably got the box, but he's not going to give up the box for the other dealer, and that's a long story, and we'll get into that. But he says the problem about Mac making the boxes isn't the issue. The problem is things like the rollers for the drawers, the drawer slides and the rollers. They're outsourced to another distributor, and they can't get stuff like that, or casters for the boxes. It's ridiculous what this country is going through right now of not being able to get stuff, and the inflation that we're going through, the cost of everything it's absolutely stupid what we're going through. The price of fuel, absolutely ridiculous. But my venting and just a subject for maybe comments. Leave your comments about problems that you've had getting stuff, or what you think about it. But anyways, on to the video, more about the dunnage rack for the International. You know, I just wanted to show you the air intake. Any of you know that have been in the shop updates or the haul truck build, I'm building an air intake for the 8.3 Cummins, and I kind of am getting back into it. One of the reasons that I put this off a lot is I'm trying to comprehend in my mind how I'm going to make the transition into the flange that bolts onto the intake manifold of the Cummins. I kind of see that in my mind as a weak spot. And again, I'm not an engineer, so, but I get these feelings or these thoughts about, to me, that could be the weakest link in building this thing, is going from the transition of this into the flange. And here is the original intake flange off of the it, and you can see how restrictive it is, and this is exactly why I'm building this, is to compensate for that restriction, or build something that's very less restrictive. But in my mind, going from this to getting a bolt pattern flange around it, and these notches have to be in here because the notches serve to allow you to get into the injectors. That seems to be kind of, in my mind, the weakest link per se, and how to build it or how to mold that. Now, I could build it wider and do it, but I've read where cutting the fibers, creates a weak spot in doing it. So if I build it bigger and then cut it down to compensate for like the notches and stuff, does that create a weak link? So it's just things that I've been kind of going over in my mind. And but anyways, let's go on, and I'm going to show you the dunnage rack. I'm not going to get into what I've been doing on it. I'll just show it to you in another clip. Here is a dunnage rack. Now, I painted it with the urethane. Again, in other clips that I'm not going to show you now, I went through and spot welded that expanded metal into the bottom of it, and stuff like that. Kind of finished up putting the rails and stuff on it, but I painted it with the urethane, and then what I'm going to do is clear coat it. Now, I've clear coated the underside of it. What happened is I painted it with urethane using a paint gun. I've got like a gallon can of urethane and painted it with a paint gun, but I don't have clear coat for clear coat urethane. So what I did is bought rattle cans of clear coat, and did that. But when I bought the rattle cans of it, they had mixed semi-gloss with gloss clear coat into the same bin, and I never noticed it. So I picked up 3 cans of it, and 2 of the cans are one of them's a satin-like finish, and the other one's a semi-gloss, and the one was a gloss, and that's kind of what I wanted to use as a gloss on it. But anyways, I'll got to do the back side of it, front side of it, and put a coat of clear coat onto the expanded metal just to help protect it, just to give it some added depth of paint, and so when stuff rubs on it, it takes longer to rub through back to the bare metal where it's going to start rusting again. So again, I'll show that in another clip. I'm sorry, another video. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe.